Well, a war is coming to the United States in months, not years. Former 24-year veteran of the Customs and Border Protection, J.J. Carrell, just uncovered the truth of what's happening with Biden's border invasion, and the war will start in black communities. That's where it's going to start first. Listen to J.J. in Chicago talking with black citizens who are being crushed right now under the weight of illegal immigrants in their communities. Watch.
This is America.
This is America.
There's a problem.
And the people have a problem with Trump. What are you crazy?
Biden did this. This is not Trump.
Exactly. The Democrat Party in this city hates poor black people. And I'm talking about all of the Democrat Party, the Black Caucus and everybody else. This is a fact. They have starved the people.
How do you know that? How do you know that?
Because I've been in politics for the last 25 years. Ran for city council twice. They have no intentions for American citizens, especially black America. Poor black people in this city are obsolete.
And JJ joins me now, fresh off of his trip. JJ, great to see you again. You know, you've obviously confronted some of the most unbelievable circumstances as it relates to the southern border in the United States, some of the most dangerous circumstances that you've faced with arrests. How does Chicago, far away from the southern border, how does Chicago stack up with what you're used to at the southern border?
Chicago's a war zone, and it is a Trump called it the forgotten America, forgotten Americans. So the reason why I went to Chicago is I believe it's a ground zero of the invasion. This is the manifestation of treason. It's going to work from the coastlines in through the inner cities of major metropolitan areas. That gentleman that you showed, Mark Clayton, is an activist. Mark Carter, is an activist in Chicago. He took me down to the South Side. I had to be escorted down there because of the gang violence and all the issues. But their local government has poured over $3 billion into their community for illegal aliens, not their community, but for illegal aliens. And they are being systematically pushed out of their communities like Inglewood. It is something I have never witnessed before. I feel like I'm traveled, I'm smart, I've been places. I'm telling you, when you go down to the South Side, it is desolate, it is desperate, hopeless, violent. I would say 1 out of 4, 1 out of 5 houses are dilapidated and shuttered. The other 4 need to be shuttered. Businesses are closed and shuttered. There's no industry. They are bringing illegal aliens, majority from Venezuela, and they are moving them out of their communities. Let me give you an example. The city of Chicago paid black residents that were living in these dilapidated shacks, if you will, $1,000 to move out. Well, why would the landlords in Chicago want them to move out? $1,000. Because each illegal alien has $9,000 attached to them for rent assistance. $9,000. So they're moving them out and moving them in. Now, Clayton, I talked to mega church black pastors, street pastors, violent gang members that have come out of prison that are trying to reform their community, been in prison for murder for 21 years, another one murder for 26 years, and soup kitchen workers, everyone in between down on the south side of Chicago, black residents, black Americans. And they all say to me, to a man and woman, they say, we're going to war. And it took me back for a second, and I was like, okay, well, let's clarify what war is. And they said, whatever we have to do to maintain and protect our community. And a black pastor, the rooftop pastor, the AK rooftop pastor that Tucker Carlson interviewed for many, many months as he sat on top of a building during the winter months because of the prostitution crime that was across the street from his church, Pastor Brooks told me, we are within one black teenager being raped by these Venezuelan gangs or black Venezuelan gangs killing a black gang member or vice versa, and Chicago is going to explode. Everyone knows it, and isn't it coincidental, which I don't believe in coincidences, last week, DNC comes out and says, well, we're really kind of rethinking the Chicago DNC convention. We might do it remote. They know it as well as I do, that this is a powder keg ready to explode.
Yeah, can you hold the Democratic National Convention in Chicago? I mean, what do you have to show for it? I mean, as we talked about with Mark, with the activist,
Yeah.
he says you're seeing Democrats have destroyed this city, so you're going to bring the Democratic National Convention there. I mean, you're right. This is an absolute powder keg moment, and I think, we throw this term war around a lot, and I've thought a lot about this since you and I have been talking over the past few days. This idea, I've thought it was going to be a civil war. We've been thinking of the term civil war in the United States, Americans against Americans right now. But I think it's not. I think what you saw in Chicago, what you're seeing with your documentary Treason, what you're uncovering, is an invasion, and it's a repelling of an invasion. That will be the war. Americans coming together, and they hate that. I mean, absolutely, the powers that be would hate that Republicans and Democrats, MAGA Americans, and liberal Democrats would come together and say, enough is enough. We want to take our country back. And maybe I'm wrong, but is that where you see this war unfolding, or how this war would unfold? It won't be a civil war. It'll be a repelling of this invasion as a war.
I absolutely believe that. And my mindset is changing as I'm going to these communities, and I'm going to Boston and New York next. But I knew Chicago was the epicenter. And you're right. What scares the power structures more than anything, Clayton, is a big white man standing next to a big black man, both alpha males, one in law enforcement, one in the prison system, and realizing we have enormous amounts in common. We agree on the majority of everything. And the things that we don't agree on, we can civilly talk and come to a good conclusion because we're Americans. But when you take us and we're looking at the same problem and we're saying the source of that problem is the government. The government is destroying you. Why would I not help my brother? I don't care what race he is or what religion. He's my American brother and sister. Why would I not help him? That's going to be the call to America, because as I say in my interviews, if you think it's going to be contained in this bubble in Chicago, you're a fool. It's already spread across America. There's 45 million illegal aliens in America right now. 45 million. And I spoke to a female precinct leader in the GOP. There's only 2 GOP offices, I think, in all of Illinois. One of them is in Southside. And she tells me, she goes, do you think this is coincidental, JJ? You think this is just happenstance that the black population is decreasing in Chicago? They're about 700,000-ish. Do you think it has no meaning that the mayor, Johnson, 2 weeks ago said out loud, we're bringing in 700,000 illegal aliens? It's a 1-for-1. They're replacing us. And I didn't even use the word replacement. They all did. I'm talking from the highest level intellect down to street level knowledge and everyone in between. We are being replaced. We are being replaced. And I'm like, wow, they're on the front lines. And as these men told me, these gang members told me, if they think they're going to take it from me, they got another thing coming. We're armed to the teeth. We got 100-round drums. We got clips, magazines that have 30 rounds in them. We're not going without a fight. That's petrifying. I don't want that in America, but I'm telling you, Clayton, I was down. I saw how these illegal aliens live. They're staying in accommodations in the highest rent areas of Chicago, downtown. They are staying in buildings that are shadowed by the Department of Justice building. They're doing pimping, prostitution, drugs, fighting. And our brothers and sisters, I literally walked from a tent compound where American citizens, veterans are living in squalor. The stench of feces and urine was overwhelming. I leave that to go to illegals living in luxury. They've taken over a whole city block. Clayton, here's the final thing, one thing I want to impress upon. When you and I talked about me walking on the border in San Diego, in the area that I bled on to control that, and that feeling I had that I was in enemy territory, that they owned it. I was in Chicago when the vast majority, there were hundreds of military age adult men from Venezuela, majority from Venezuela. They looked at me like, what are you doing? This is our neighborhood. Get out. This is what's happening to America. You are being replaced. What do you do when you go into war? You take land. It's called occupying property. They're occupying America and they're pushing us out. 45 million going on 50 million strong. And the other thing I want to say, that as I travel and I see it, I went from leaving the United States Border Patrol 3 years ago when the NGOs didn't really know what they were doing. The NGOs on the South Side bringing the caravans up didn't know. The government just created this chaos because they wanted to destroy America. And it was all chaotic and clunky. No longer, Clayton. I'm watching an industrial strength, industrial size operation that is streamlined and efficient from the Darien Gap to Chicago. I have never seen anything like this big and this perfectly orchestrated. It is unbelievable.
It must have felt like a whole different world. I mean, I've been to Chicago many times. I can't imagine. You know, you feel like you're a foreigner in your own country, walking down those streets of Chicago.
Well, you know what was amazing too is when you watch this video that Mark Carter, when he and I are talking, he takes me across the street to those tent cities, the tent compound. Hundreds of people live in there, drug addicts, everything. It's just a horrible, miserable way for any human to live. And I'm interviewing several of them, and they tell me the stories of during the winter, how they're getting frostbite on their toes and their fingers. Clayton, 200 yards away is the illegal immigrant intake center. They have 5 tents that look like the beautiful white wedding tents with beautiful signage where they feed, clothe, and medicate them. And then if it's too cold, Clayton, they put them on 5 city buses that stay running 24 hours a day so they can warm up. U.S. citizens were knocking on the doors of the bus saying, please let me in, as illegal aliens were sitting there getting warm, eating freshly cooked food with brand new clothes. And our Americans are knocking on the bus. And you know what the bus driver said? Only illegal aliens allowed. This is not hyperbole. I'm not making this up. This is what's happening to our nation. And it's unfair. You and I can have a discussion, Clayton, about how much money we give, how do we fix the homeless problem? But the one discussion we can't have any disagreement on, do you take care of American citizens first? Or do you make them stay and sleep in the freezing cold while I take care of foreign nationals that broke our nation's laws and I give them everything they need? When I was coming out of those homeless shelters, the illegal alien migrant hotels, you know what I saw? I saw men wearing very nice clothes, extremely clean, watches, jewelry. Another thing I saw, Clayton, they were jumping in and out of vehicles that they bought that had no license plates, no anything. And I'm told by Chicago PD officers, we're not allowed to stop them. We know who they are. They get to drive licenseless, plateless, anything. It's anarchy. It's anarchy. And I will tell you this. I talked to several lieutenants within the Chicago PD, and they told me the plan was to have no plan, meaning just chaos. These are soldiers, frontline law enforcement guys telling me this is a disaster. And they tell me also the DNC comes in August. They said, prepare. It's going to be beyond insane. Crime, rampant, BLM, anarchists, illegal aliens, gang members says, we're not prepared. That's a quote, we are not prepared. That's why you're seeing the DNC thinking about canceling their convention.
And you said they're not prepared. The Chicago PD says we're not prepared?
This is a quote. Chicago PD lieutenant told me, we are not prepared, and our federal partners are extremely concerned because we do not have a handle on anything.
I hope people are paying attention to what JJ just said. That is unbelievable, what you just told me. I'm frankly speechless. I mean, and I'm like on the verge of tears, to be honest with you. Like I can't freaking believe that this is happening in the United States of America right now. I mean, we need, I don't know what we do, but you've seen, of course, videos talking about 80,000 Americans ready to go, ready to launch a revolution. legal revolution in this country to expel these people. You have all of these black activists and black citizens here who are being trampled under the foot of illegal immigration by the Democrats. And they're saying we're about to go to war. And what is the Biden administration doing right now? Literally the same day I'm talking to you, Rachel Levine, who's the trans, Surgeon General or whatever the hell he is issuing a statement saying the number one threat to black Americans right now is climate change. So this is, I'm not making that up.
It's funny. You got to laugh or you're going to cry.
I know, like, this is how out of touch these people are. I mean, I hope next time once the treason documentary is done, I hope you go to these black communities in Chicago and do another documentary on how climate change is the number one thing that's affecting them right now. Because all that frostbite that they're getting is a direct result of climate change. I mean, it's absolutely infuriating. And of course, we've covered, all the NGOs and the number of the funneling of this money here, this migrant center. But I just got to ask you, I mean, what does it seem like it's organized? You hear from these different activists who are talking about there's a war coming. Are they all on the same page with this? Are they talking about what's coming? Are they actively preparing for something? I mean, you talk about this sort of tinderbox moment. I guess I'm more worried about sort of the explosive moment, the start of World War I moment in the United States. What will be the shot heard round the world moment? Will we have a George Floyd style moment that will be used to rally? And or do they seem like they're all on the same page with this?
They are all on the same page. And I can't reiterate this enough. I'm talking to men that have been out of prison for a year or two, spent 2.5 decades in prison, major gang members. The creator, I sat down with the founder of the Black Disciples. They're all telling me, from there to the beautiful woman that works in the soup kitchen that's overworked out of her mind, to street pastors, to a mega pastor, to politicians and precinct leaders and everyone in between, not knowing that I'm speaking to everyone else, right? Like I'm walling everyone off. They're adamantly, we're going to war. That's what they're saying. This is not my words. I'm not coming up with a phrase. They're saying, we are going to war. And I ask them, well, what does that look like? Whatever it takes, man. Whatever it takes. And they think we're going to roll over. And they made a very great point to me. They said, we have been abused for decades. We have lived in squalor for decades. We have been oppressed for decades. Do you think 10, 20, 100, 200,000 illegal aliens from Venezuela are going to beat us? Do you know where we have been conditioned? When we're talking about going to war, we've been at war. And I'm going to tell you, that's a war zone already. It's dilapidated. The only thing that's missing is maybe some tanks, military tanks running through that city, because it's dilapidated. There's no grocery stores. You have to go get food at the gas station. There's no industry. There's nothing. I don't even know how to really quantify how desperate and how desolate and hopeless that place is. But they are full of hope because their hope is in them. And I will say this because I know, because I've been on the other side where I'm like, you voted for this, inner city Chicago. All of your aldermen, city council, mayor, chief of police, everyone, even they say are all black. But to their credit, they said the only way that we're going to clean up our communities is we clean it up. The men clean it up. We come back from prison and we help. He says, but there is no resources. We have no money. And when you look at it, and they're absolutely right, $3 billion from Chicago has been poured into the illegal aliens. Nothing for inner city blacks. Let me go one step further. I'm talking to the GOP leader, and he tells me, do you know last week that we beat back a bond measure for $150 million for illegal aliens? We beat it back. He goes, but you know what Mayor Johnson did? They did a circle around and they took out a loan, not for $150 million, but for $1.25 billion. and all of it is earmarked for illegal aliens. So you think, and the last thing, one thing I want to tell you, Clayton, the last adjective that they all use to describe how they feel, the black residents in inner city Chicago, they say, we feel humiliated. When you combine resentment, anger, and then you throw humiliation on with a dose of no hope and devastation, that's a recipe for disaster, dude. And I lived it. I was there 3 days straight just filming and talking. And I came away flying back to my suburban, very police-oriented neighborhood that I don't worry about anything except take care of my wife and my son. I'm flying home and I'm thinking, what did I just see? What world am I flying from? That was not America. My partner in this, Ryan Matta, and I were talking, dude, where did we just come from? That's how bizarre this whole thing is. And the federal government is doing this to America on purpose.
War, revolution, use whatever word you want, but it's coming to the United States of America right now. And someone who's on the front lines right now, being able to educate all of us about what's happening. I hope you share this with people. I hope you publish this on Facebook if they'll let you. They'll probably get blocked. Share this everywhere. Let people know what's coming. This is the United States of America right now. J.J. Carrell has been our guest. His new documentary is called Treason. Hopefully it'll be published in the fall, but he's, of course, putting all of this together right now, traveling the country, and he's kind enough to share some of these dispatches with us as this story unfolds. But this one really got me, JJ. I mean, this really hit me in a way that I didn't think it was going to, but it really has. Thank you for joining us, JJ. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for the time, as always, Clayton.
I really hope you enjoyed watching this video. You know, YouTube thinks that you'll actually like this next video right here. It's personalized based on your own viewing habits. So if you watch the video, please leave a comment. Let us know what you think about it, and we will see you next time, everyone.